You look amazing.
The voice
and
and the body.
You look beautiful
awesome.
as Robin. I just don't, I see all of our other fabulous straw hats, around, but I was like, gosh, I want to see some Robins.
For newer costumes, easier to do.
That's true. There's some newer ones that are easy, but you look amazing. Well done. Well, I'm Stephanie Young, Brim, a voice actress, and obviously I voice Nico Robin in One Piece. So I'm glad we're here to talk about all things One Piece and voice acting and what have you. But One Piece is certainly a show that is near and dear to my heart because we have been recording for, years. It's been over 5 years. I just figured that out the other day. So I'm just used to having Robin and the whole crew in my life all the time. Right? And it's a good way to live, isn't it? It's a fantastic way to live. It's a better way to live now that we've gotten through a few arcs. But that's a good way to live. So thank you so much for coming. So I'm just going to open up the floor to questions. But I'm so glad we just get to talk about One Piece. It's very decadent to be able to just talk about this show because I want to talk about it all the time, but I try not to dominate, panels that are varied in topic because I could talk about One Piece forever. Oh, we get to. All right, I saw a hand. Okay, we'll work back. Okay, we'll start here.
Since we're on the subject of One Piece, I know you're busy with your voice acting and your parenting jobs. Do you ever get the time to read the One Piece story, after where you in the anime, or just read it in the manga or anything?
Right. The question is, do I ever have time to read the manga? No, I don't have time to read in general right now. It's crazy, these babies. Oh my goodness, the time. I love him more than anything, but wow. So between working, I'm a full-time actor and a singer, and between the voice acting and on-camera acting and then gigging with my husband, we are super busy, and then you throw in this little person who's incredible but still doesn't sleep at night. Oh my gosh! So we party, we'll be up. I like to joke and say we live the convention schedule. We're up at 2, we're up at 4:30 or 5, because we just are living life. And I just go, oh, I'm so thankful for you, and I am. He's healthy, he's beautiful, we'll get through it, right? And I see all these mothers who are like, everybody goes through it. But unfortunately, that does not leave a lot of time for reading. But on that note, you've heard this story, but before we recorded the whole backstory of Robin's character with her mother and the tragedy that is that story, and oh my goodness, if I recorded that now, I probably would be a puddle on the floor. I wasn't a mother yet. I was on my way to being a mom, so I was still very hormonal and emotional, and it was great, but now, just the depth of feeling of being separated from a child like that. In fact, I can't even really talk. They say the hormones stick around in your body for a year or two after you have babies, and I believe that because I've been at more conventions now where I start talking about Robin and her mother in One Piece, and I really start crying. Like, pull it together, voice actress. But anyway, so a few people gave me the manga to prepare me for dealing with Robin's backstory, and I'm so glad that they did. I needed that. So that, maybe Michael Tatum can record breakdowns and you can understand what he's saying, but that doesn't really happen for me. I don't think it would. It probably would just be... And I was glad to be prepared. But the great thing is that any One Piece fans, you guys are the best. You're just loving people. I know you love the show, but I know that when I talk to other voice actors that are in the show, we talk about the general One Piece love and the fan base for this show. It is very genuine, and we feel that, and we're so grateful for that. And a couple of people gave me the manga, just said, you need to read this. It's like, that is exactly what happened. And then I was like, oh, thank you. Like at an autograph session, I said, oh, thank you, I'll read that. No. You need to read this.
I'm like, show me you're reading it.
Right? Okay.
I will film it for you. Right.
And I'm gonna just hold the line, a little bit. That's a Kleenex, but I did. I read through it and thought, gosh, this is deep, this is heavy, but this is One Piece, right? The show that's so frolicking and fun and friendship and moonbeams and stars, and then the backstories of the characters come in and just rip your heart out. So I was glad to be prepared for that. So. Yes.
Can you comment any on the upcoming Thriller Bark arc?
I don't think I can talk about the thriller bark arc. Other than that's kind of hard to say. Thriller bark arc.
Say it 3 times fast.
I don't know if I can. I know I'm a professional and all, but that's late.
You'll bite your tongue.
But other than it was a whole lot of fun to record. A whole lot of fun to record that. Anything coming out of any Zombie and Water 7 and all of that is just fun, right? It's just fun. After being in such an intense emotional journey, which I loved every second of it, but it's really nice to be, you know, entering into different stories, you know, now.
There's one more question. Do you know, is there any like noticeable difference, like just in Robin's character or anything like between recording like filler arcs or the actual canon story?
Interesting. Any noticeable difference in Robin's character? Can y'all hear each other? I guess it's not that we're hearing each other. Somewhat, yes. Which is nice when you compare it to when I began recording Robin in the beginning, when we first started with her and where she was in the story. You know, she was very serious and kind of dry, you know. And it's nice when we go through some of the other arcs that are kind of fun, and she gets to have personality, because I'm kind of, I don't know, kind of a happy person in general in life. And it was nice to infuse that into Robin. Like, oh, she's laughing.
Ask a question.
Oh, she gets, you know, and have fun with everyone. And it's nice to be able to explore that side of her. And because I completely geek out and care about her, I want her as a person to have that, I know, right? Like, really? Yeah. I want her to have that rounded life where she's happy. And she can be intense, Robin, but I want her to be happy. And I'm so glad that she was willing to allow herself to be loved. That she was willing to allow herself to find her family and her friends. So, yeah, I get all mushy about One Piece. Really I know. So, questions? Yes, sir.
Yes, I'm in a bit of a predicament.
You're in a predicament?
Yes.
Oh dear.
See,
Yes.
When Naruto, Bleach, and One Piece first started, I can only choose 2 out of the 3 to watch to keep my sanity. So I chose Naruto and Bleach.
Oh,
now I have friends who say, watch One Piece. I go online, 500, 400 plus episodes. I'm like, nah, right? Like, that's
it's a commitment.
So my question,
that's why I love these people.
My question to you would be, why One Piece? What do you believe separates it from shows like Bleach and Naruto, like other shonen kind of stuff?
Okay. Though I can't speak to those shows obviously as well as One Piece. I'll tell you what I really love about One Piece, and hopefully you will make the smart move to join our crew.
Sell it to me.
Yes. But I do love the fact that this show, it's highly entertaining and it's funny and it's crazy. We have this joke in the booth that whenever any strange happening appears, like I joke about the banana gators all the time. There's banana gators in this show. Have you ever seen a banana gator? No, but you will in this show. Crazy creatures, crazy characters, so much fun. And we have this joke in the booth that whenever, you know, we will preview what we're about to record, right? We're just watching it in the Japanese and something insane will happen. Like when I first saw the banana gators, I said, what is that? Which I do all the time. What's happening? What? Shadows and souls stolen? What? And now our joke is, because One Piece. Just say yes. Just accept it.
One Piece. Enough
One
said.
Piece. Enough said. I love that. One Piece. Enough said. And for the creators of this show, gosh, they're brilliant. And I love the fact that they have so much fun with it. But then in a second, they will turn around and make you cry. Because they will just get your heart because you fall. I think these characters are so lovable, so likable, and then the fact that they are so loyal. I love that. I love that the show has such strong themes of loyalty and friendship, and then just insanity, because that's real life, isn't it? All the good and the insanity, and the banana gators.
Must be a strong world then.
Yeah. Very good. Other questions? Yes. Juan. He's a friend of mine, and I like to say his name, Juan.
I wonder why.
I'm from Texas, you know, we try.
When you first went into audition, were there other characters that had you read for, or other characters that you kind of like, ooh, I would like to voice her or whatever?
You know what? I probably read for Nami, even though that was not necessarily in my wheelhouse, But Robin was pretty much dead set. I mean, Mike was like, "You're going to read for Robin." I said, "Great." And what they did is they had this waiting area, which is common for us when we go into audition for shows. There's a waiting area and you see pictures of characters and a few lines for those characters. Then you pick who you want to read for, and the director will let you know, "Oh, I envision you doing this." So that's always exciting. It's fun to see where you fit. Now, I was still a, sort of a green voice actress at Funimation. I had done a few lead characters, Junko in Desert Punk, and Julia on Galaxy Railways. That was a long time ago. Flanka and Gunslinger Girl, but, it's not like I had this wealth of lead characters or lead females, under my belt. And when he said, "I really want you to read for Robin," I was like, yes. And then I read her bio and all about her. I did not know. All I knew was a show that went on forever, and every actor at Funimation wanted to work on the show. Of course, realistically, this is our work, and yes. And then, of course, if a show is running that long, it's a good show. It's good. You want to be a part of a really good property. And so, of course, I wanted to be a part of it. So he said, "You're reading Robin." And then I saw a picture. I was like, "Oh, I want to voice this character so badly." But, I find it's good to, find what you want and go for it, but then you just sort of have to let it go as an actor. Because you hear no all the time, and you just have to, be okay with it. And often you don't know where you fall in the mix of a cast. You don't know. You think, "Well, I would be perfect for this character." Well, maybe not with this group of people. But, Robin, I just thought, oh, what a dream to voice her. And I remember I auditioned, and I left, and then we heard that the Japanese were going to be approving our voices. So, and about a month later, it was quite a while between auditioning for her and then getting a callback to read for Robin. So they had a short list of people that we all came back and we were called back. And I was so excited to be called back, and I thought, "Oh, I want this, but maybe I shouldn't want it too badly. Oh, but this has got to happen." And I remember the call to come in for the callback came, it was very last minute, which happens all the time in entertainment. Nothing ever happens on a schedule usually planned, a week or two in advance, where you have time to, plan and prepare. I remember that I was going to, it's funny because we made an opera joke in that last panel. I was actually going to the opera. We were going to see Faust. And this call came in, and I said, "Oh, we will fit this in. I've got to go do this callback, and then, I will be late to the opera. I'm not missing this callback." And went in and read, and it seemed like things were good. It's funny. They one of the direction that I had for this character, they wanted her to be sexier. Like, okay, can do that. And then they wanted her to be a little higher pitched. I know it's funny in America sometimes that to us, sexy is, the lower gravity. And that was not what they were equating with us. They're like, "Let's make her sexier, let's pitch it up."
So we're gonna do that.
I thought that was interesting. It's always interesting to, to get in the minds of a producer and what they want. But fortunately, it all worked out. And that was the beginning of my love affair with Nico Robin many, many moons later. So, yay! But I'll never forget that, and I love that Wanted poster. That was the first thing that I ever saw, any image that I saw. And I've just continued to be impressed with this woman along the way. She's pretty incredible. And let's just face it, the strongest one in the crew, pretty much. Okay, Luffy, yeah, but she's got skills. I love my other crewmates, but she's got skills. Love her, love her. And when I first read about her, I thought, what can you do with all those hands? Really?
I know what you can do, though.
Little did I know.
I know what you can do.
You can fly with those hands is what you can do.
Among other things.
Yeah, more questions. We'll cook Luffy in the Momika Array, Zora.
So what would you say is your favorite move of Nico Robin's?
My favorite move
of
Nico? Oh gosh, that's a really good question. I can't believe no one's asked me that before. Goodness, no. Can I is that already? It really shocked me when she was able to create wings out of her hands and fly.
Sasuke could do it.
Yeah, what?
Seriously, how does it shock you? If One Piece is better, then obviously they can do it better, right?
That's true, right. Because One Piece. But I thought that was really clever, and I love the fact that when she does her, sans fleur, and all of that there's flower petals in the animation. It's very feminine, but it's still super tough, and then she's always so calm, pretty much always. for the most part. The majority of the time she's pretty calm about it. I love that strength in her. But that's pretty incredible. Gosh, what are some of, I would love to know if you have any thoughts on what she's done with her hands that has been the most impressive.
Clutch.
I'll never forget that. And clutch. Sorry, Patrick.
It's okay.
It's okay. You sound like a girl now. We'll make her way over. Yes.
What is your favorite scene that you voiced for Rave?
There are a lot of wonderful scenes, and definitely the fun and frivolous ones with the crew. But of course, I would have to say, in a really twisted way. You know, as much as I can't stand Spondum, but going through that whole part of her story, and then finally the realization of the I want to live moment. That's definitely, I will never forget that. That was really a moment. And Mike and I, fabulous director Mike McFarlane, we were both in tears after. And maybe I was in tears because, thank God, he did it, he accepted one take on that. But that's the kind of line when you read it and you know what you have to give to it, you don't want to do it 5 times. You just want to put it all in there and then hope it reads. And I remember it was almost sort of very out of body. You know, when you go to the dark water and the deep places, sometimes you kind of lose a sense of what's around you. And as an actor, I think that's a good thing. It means you're just really in touch with what's happening. And that's hard when you're in a booth, hearing beeps, doing multiple takes and trying to match flaps. You know, the flaps that you're trying to match. But for that line, I'm so glad the way he set it up. We had a lot of pre-roll, which means he played what I'd recorded before to lead up to that moment. So he let me hear it, and as an actor, that's great because you can react off that. And so he let me hear all of that going into it, and then just, whew. I remember after I recorded it, I just thought, what just happened? And I looked at him, and his eyes started tearing up, and then my eyes started tearing up looking at him, and he was like, we got it.
Take 5, people.
Yes, take 5. Actually, we did, and we took a little break. And we took a little break after that. But, you know, how great to work on a show where you get to do that. You know? Where you get to do that and then have these really sweet moments with Chopper in some other episodes. So, which I love Chopper. That's definitely that one.
That comment would get him.
And then I try to get, you know, Robin being separated from Olvia out of my head all the time. Especially now that I have a child. I can't even go there. Her mom, Olvia. You had a question here, senor?
I have about 1,000 questions, but I'll narrow it to one. No, I'm dead serious. I could go on all day. But I'll narrow it down to one.
You are awesome.
Being that, like, because I'm not like a One Piece buff or whatever, but my friend was trying to get me into it, so he started showing me the episodes, like, continuously, like no time for sleep, One Piece.
May I just say I love it that I've had a few stories of my friends are trying to get me into One Piece.
It's not like I didn't watch it before, but I wasn't too into it because, you know, I'm into Dragon Ball Z and stuff, and that's where I'm at. But regardless, he was showing me, and when it got to Robin, when she actually started to make an appearance, I thought she was like a bad guy, an evil character or whatever. Like, not necessarily evil, more along the lines of
anti-hero.
That, yeah.
Maybe some bad choices.
I know, because when I saw, wasn't she attacking the Straw Hats or something like that? She was attacking everybody, really, but
she was working with Crocodile. She was in a rough.
And that's another thing. Crocodile's supposed to be this big bad guy, and she's working. And at first, you know, usually you can tell it's like that person's not doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because they got to. At first, I didn't see that with Robin. It kind of seemed like she was enjoying herself. So I'm like, is this like a misconception of a lot of people? Did you have that thought in mind? Or was it just like, when you started off, you was like, oh no, I know where this is going because of the script? Or was it like, no way?
I knew, well, obviously I did know where it was going. I did. But I felt like, for me, even though she was good at it, and she's good at a lot of things.
Giggity.
But working with Crocodile was crushing. I remember that scene where she's in the ruins and she's just crying and talking about her wanting friends and that. So yeah, she needed to get away from that element. Thank goodness she did. But I also love that in this story and her arc that
she made such a transition.
She came, I mean, gosh, look at her childhood and what she went through. She is a survivor, and she was, you know, gotten with the wrong crowd and the wrong people, but that did lead her eventually to the Straw Hats and where she was. So, you know, you kind of wonder in life where things will lead you. Not that you should make the bad choices, but even if you do, you can get out of that, and and good things can happen. So it's a very complex show. It's deep stuff. It's deep stuff. Yeah.
So I'm sure we all know that before Funimation got One Piece, 4Kids did that god-awful dub of it, and they had a different voice actor to do Nico Robin, Veronica Taylor. Did you ever get to meet her on your con? Or
I have met Veronica Taylor.
Did you ever discuss the role of Nico Robin with her?
We didn't really talk about it too much. We didn't really have a chance. It was one of those. It was a really large convention, Florida SuperCon, like 15,000 people. It's a big one. So we didn't get a chance to really talk too much. But she's lovely. She's a wonderful voice actress, and I think that was just one of those situations where a group of people made a decision on a direction of a show, and a voice actress was following direction, and it didn't work out. So.
Did you ever hear any of her voice to work through the old One Piece dub?
I never listened to it. I've heard people talk about it, and there's an accent and things like that, and I just decided to stay away from it. I didn't want it in my head. Okay. And
she's like, I'm better.
It's probably for the best.
She's extremely talented. She's a wonderful actress, but yeah, I haven't heard. So, and that's tough. When we first auditioned for One Piece and started doing the show, when we actually, it's funny, as an actor, you audition and you really want the role, then you get it, and then you have to do it.
You mean have to or get to?
Get to.
Have to or get to?
And have to. You get to. It's a blessing, it's a cool thing, but then you've got to show up and do the work, and it needs to be really good because this other group of people just did it and it didn't work out. So you don't want to disappoint the fans, and you want to keep the show going. So there was this whole other pressure coming into it with our group instead of just this clean slate of, come in and do your thing and go. And then I was like, didn't work out. Let's see what you guys are going to do. So I think we all felt a little bit of that pressure. But we're so glad that clearly, worked out, and you guys are happy with it. So thank you. We were so glad that you're happy with it. But and here we are, years later, still working. I think we had a question over here. Then we'll go back there. Yeah.
Did you enjoy being a Foxy Pirate with a chopper in the past?
Yes.
Gotcha.
Foxy. Oh my gosh. And who voiced Foxy?
Jonathan Brooks.
So wonderful, Jonathan Brooks. Gosh, and that laugh. Right, the laughs in One Piece. Because One Piece. I find myself, this is funny, I find myself doing some of the laughs for my son. Can you write for a baby? I know, isn't it great? And then is it Saul that does the Oh, isn't that the sweetest thing? Except he's crying. I find myself out of nowhere. It's not like I made the conscious choice. I'm going to do One Piece laughs. But it just works. I can't even do it justice, but it's so sweet. Yeah, love it. John Brooks is amazing. But yeah, Foxy Pirate, fun. See, part of the fun times we get to have on Fun Piece. Like those fun daily bags.
I heard that. She said Fun Piece.
We
heard it.
Fun Piece.
The one Fun Piece.
Freudian slip, because it is fun. Okay. Yes, back there.
Well, it wasn't a real question. I just want to say thank God you guys got One Piece, because I'm going to be brutally honest. The original voice actor for Sanji was horrible.
Oh my
God, I hated it so
like
much.
a gorilla.
What do you have against
Thank God
Brooklyn?
Eric Bale did a great
No more.
job. But
Eric is wonderful.
Eric is wonderful. I was like, thank you. Somebody who did justice on these characters.
Again, I haven't heard, but I know Eric is fantastic as Sanji. It's funny, somebody once,
And I can't watch the original.
somebody asked me once if our characters were to hook up with other characters. Who would they hook up with and whatnot. And I always thought, I think Zora, I don't know, he's just kind of tough. I think he and Robin, well, they just would never really truly get along. I love any of the lines where he and Robin are kind of at each other, which they're not enough. I wish there were more. But I always thought Sanji, even though he has a wandering eye, that one, but he would cook for you.
Oh yeah.
That's a plus.
Cook, yeah.
That's a plus. And I think he's a good dancer. So, those are some of the things that can be fun. Other questions?
Can I ask them?
Yes.
Because I got 1,000.
I know you've got 1,000. We'll come back. Yes.
Do you miss singing the openings and endings? You guys are doing them in English and they kind of stop?
Yeah, no, that stopped. That was fun. And that was also a challenge. I love singing openings and endings and singing in general. So, of course, it was really great to be able to bring my singing into the Funimation world. Although I will have to say some of those songs were a challenge. I sang not so much for the One Piece songs, but Negama. There was a song that I did for Negama that I swear if it wasn't for Pro Tools, the original, I have such respect for the original Japanese singer because she didn't need to breathe. Ever! I remember Brina, the wonderful Brina Palencia, who I adore, she was voice directing me and she said, I just want you to know before we start, we have Pro Tools. I thought, what? I had heard the song, but I remember thinking, I can only sing for so long, and she's still going. Oh my goodness. So that was respect. Right. And I wonder if she punched in. But the phrasing, was so different. But yeah, that's I know we don't really do as many of those these days. But luckily, there's a lot of music in Space Dandy that's happening. I haven't been singing on that, and can't really talk about Space Dandy right now. But
do it.
A lot of our actors are singing on that show, which is really cool. So I love that. And then, Tsubasa Chronicles. Anybody watch Tsubasa Chronicles? Okay, Aruha. Have to mention her because I love her. It's funny, now that I have dark hair, if I were to cosplay, it'd be a lot of fun to cosplay Aruha. And let's face it, she owns a jazz club.
Cosplaying with the Brens.
Right, cosplay with the Brens, really. Aruha, and I don't know what we'd have David do, but we can come up with something. But I am, for those of you that don't know, I am a singer, and I sing in jazz clubs in Dallas and around the country all the time. And love it, yeah. Love to hear that. Oh, sweet. And when Colleen Klinkenberg called me, she said, I've got the perfect role for you, and I'm going to voice direct you in it, and you're going to be singing. I said, great, what are we doing? Oh, it's a character that's singing in a jazz club. And she owns the club.
Right up your alley.
So cool. But that was a lot of fun. That's the City of Wind song. Yeah. So, thank you. Good question. Okay, there were... And we'll do this and we'll come over. Red shirt, yes. That's a good question. What happens when you have the sick day? Fortunately, knock on sort of wood, right? Close enough. Wood-ish. Right, wood pulp. That hasn't really happened to me, but we can reschedule. Now the bad thing is if you wait, because we'll get the call, you need to come in for so many hours, and then you try to book your days for when you can come in. And I personally try not to wait till the very end of that range of dates, because if you wait till the end and they have a deadline, there you go, you have to get it in. So fortunately I haven't had a situation where there was a deadline and I couldn't perform. But there have been times when I've walked in, I was the voice, it's a smaller role, but on Summer Wars, the Welcome to Oz. That voice, yeah. Do you koi koi? And so when I went in for that, I thought I was okay that morning. I'd kind of done some vocal warm-ups in the car. Sometimes I do. You always should. Sometimes I don't. And I did a little, but I was a little raspy. And then I got in the booth for this very important film, which almost got nominated for an Oscar. It was on the short list. I get in, and things just should have, yes.
Better than a lot of stuff that they had out anyway.
Agreed, and they should have taken a chance with that one. But things just weren't happening, and even Mike was like, another Mike McFarlane show, he goes, Stephanie, were you partying last night up late? I'm like, I don't know, it's just there's a frog in my throat, and eventually it cleared, but that was one of the first times I got a little nervous, and I thought, oh man, come on voice, because you can't force it. It's a very delicate muscle going on there, very thin, and you can't just strong will it into what you want it to do. But if we lose our voice or get hoarse, you can usually reschedule. But I have to be really careful. I made the joke in that other panel about Teflon cords. I have friends that can stay up all night, drink a bottle of gin and smoke a pack of cigarettes and just sound like a bird the next day. That's not me. I have to sleep, which is the irony of having a newborn. But sleep is usually very helpful, and I have to be really careful because I'm a singer. And so I try not to, it's kind of a bummer sometimes if I know I have a session the next day. I'm like, well, I can't scream like if we're at a concert or a sporting event or whatever. Not that I'm a big screamer at sporting events, but you have to think about those things and take care of your instrument. That's true.
Oh.
You do.
Is that how much I got left?
Lose my voice, which usually the big culprit is lack of sleep.
It's going down.
Luckily, that hasn't happened this year. But
No,
if
the
you have to
red
do a lot of
numbers.
screaming or things.